Hey, Scott from Aristocob.com here.
And Seth from TobaccoAdvent.com.
Together, along with you, the three of us, we are Mark Ben's Breakfast Club. Welcome back once again, and welcome to day 22 of Tobacco Advent 2020. So 2022.
Man, oh man, oh man, oh man. What a day.
Hey, what are we smoking?
This says Scott and Seth. Enclosed, you will find a sample of Wenceslas by Straus Tobacco. An enjoyable holiday blend. Burley, some Goshen, I think. Oh, no, Golden, and Dark Cavendish. Enjoy, always enjoy Tobacco Advent. Fred from Missouri, as my grandmother-in-law, who grew up in Missouri, says it. Missouri.
I'll tell you what, I'm a big fan of Wenceslas.
It's been a minute.
It has been. I purchased a bunch of this.
That's how old I say
one day, one time. And then somebody on Instagram or somewhere saw that I was enjoying it and said, I bought a bunch and didn't care for it. Would you be interested in it? I'll make you such a deal. And so I bought a bunch more of it.
Wow, thank you. This is
from Straus Tobacco. Tobacconist? Straus?
I remember this was a really, really nice treat in the very first Tobacco Advent. I think Brother Boontar and Skipsy sent some the very first year that we did this, which was 8 years ago.
Yeah, this is that one of those tobaccos that they make a big batch of it right around Thanksgiving time, sell it till it's gone, and then they make a variant of this that they start selling at, I believe, right after Christmas, which they call Resolution. I think that's it. And it's similar but different. I think that one's got more, I guess, of a burley base, maybe. I forget what the difference is, but you can tell it's similar but different.
Like us.
That's true. That is so true. We're similar but of a different vintage, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Day 22. Wow.
You know, I don't know if it holds true for you. It feels like this year has gone more smoothly, generally, and it feels like it has gone more quickly in terms of the Tobacco Advent.
Well, you know why that is.
I suspect partly it's because we're not doing the other videos as well.
So we in previous years have recorded our Wednesday episode as well, and because of all the things we had to share, those also went pretty long, and so that would add, 4 hours or so to our recording time.
Mm-hmm.
But this year has been a mix of both fast and slow.
Yeah.
It's been shocking the way that the space-time continuum has been disrupted by COVID.
Definitely, time is relative, for sure.
Yeah.
I caught somebody. I didn't call them out. I didn't call them out in an embarrassing way, but I caught somebody that I met at an event in February. And they said, hey, I don't know if... they sent me an email and said, hey, I don't know if you remember we met last year at an event, such and such and such and such. And so I said, yeah, absolutely. I remember. It was great. It was the last trip that we took before shutdown. And I said, yeah, believe it or not,
that was this year.
Oh, yeah. What a year it's been. And he wrote back and said, oh my goodness, wow, didn't even realize.
So
lost all track of time.
When I arrived here, I took a piece of paper out of my pocket. I noticed I had something in my pocket here. Actually, two somethings. One was a package of Captain Black, and the other one was a receipt from a hotel from the last time apparently I wore this jacket, which was February 20th of 2020, and I was in northern Indiana for a trade show. And so I burned the receipt because I needed something to get the fire going. It's like, wow, that seems like that was forever ago.
Yeah, it's wild. All right, so I don't know, this might be too existential, we'll see. What is one thing typically on your mind that makes it difficult to focus? If there's a thing you could hone in on. I've got mine. For me, the thing that makes it difficult to focus is all of the other things that need to be done. And so as a result, I have a very hard time focusing on a single task to completion without either mentally being pulled away from that task and focusing someplace else, or actually being pulled away from that task and focusing somewhere else. Either the other thing that needs to be done. I so many times throughout the day, I have that moment of I'm in the middle of a task and it's, oh, I totally forgot about that other thing, which is a higher importance, and I need to do that. I can't forget about that. And I switch tasks, and so I've lost that momentum. And switching tasks, and I get halfway through that other task that's super important, and then something else. I told so and so I was going to do such and such, and back over here. Easily 100 times in a given day, in particular a given work day, that happens, that my brain is just reminding me. It's a notification, right? Getting notifications, getting text messages for these other things that are just in my brain.
Yeah.
And I have tried a number of different methods of getting it out on paper, to-do lists. I mean, I cannot tell you how many days I try to cut my to-do list down to like the three most important things to accomplish. And I've stopped doing that because it is depressing how often of those three things, 0 of them were actually touched in a day.
That's typical.
That's it for me.
Well, okay, and so mine's similar. I drive some of my coworkers nuts. Not on a normal day, but if they have to work with me and together we're producing some work product, because like you, I work best producing that final work product at the last minute. I'm working on it.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I'm reading, I'm studying, I'm thinking, I'm being distracted on purpose, because being distracted on purpose helps me clear my mind and then think fresh about that thing. And then usually very close to the last minute, I'm ready to go. And I sound authoritative at that point. I'm currently working on a big project that we kick off in early January. I'm working with a German coworker, and I know I am driving him insane because, and he's super, shout out to Nicholas, he's super organized and methodical in the way he thinks things through and document things, and every time we're together or touching base with each other, I can tell it's like he's taking the field, he's moving the ball a little bit closer to the goal, right? And I know that I'm driving him absolutely insane. Now we'll walk in to our meeting in January, and I'll nail it. I'll knock it out of the park. I'll get great scores, right? From people that are asked questions about it after the fact. But in the build up to that, normally I'm doing all this alone, and it doesn't matter. I'm not having somebody else going nuts. I have a prior manager who is still the director of sales for the company. I now work for the HR department, who just knows this about me. And oddly enough, Nicholas now reports to him. And I think he's already given Nicholas some insight as to, look, this is the way Scott works.
Don't stress it too much.
Yeah. So, so what is it? It's everything, right? I mean, everything is on my mind. We'll be in Virginia, and well, actually, it won't be that. It'll be between Christmas and New Year's is when that meeting will really start to occupy much more of my headspace.
Yeah.
Jandy will realize, she'll know a day or two in advance that I'm already in the meeting.
Yeah.
I've checked out. And in fact, I've told her that it might not be a bad idea for me to go to a hotel for that week, even though we're doing it virtually, doing it from here. I'm not going to be home. I'm going to be mentally in 8 hours, no, sorry, not even 8 hours, longer than 8 hours. Literally 8 full hours of screen time in 2-hour chunks with 15 minutes between each chunk, and switching from a group for 2 hours to another group of people for 2 hours, to another group of people for 2 hours, for actually 5 sessions a day, so 10 hours plus 15-minute breaks in between for 4 straight days. So by the end of that, I've already told her too. I said, I'm not going to talk to you on Friday.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something profoundly irritating, probably to most people, but especially to our wives, about being physically present and mentally checked out.
AOL, right, in this case, or AWOL, absent without leaving.
Yeah. Fortunately, they both are as forgiving of that as it would be more than fair to ask them to be. But we still push it to its limits. Yeah, it's funny you say that. I was just before we started filming telling Homer that I had a great opportunity. Somebody else set up a meeting for me in the UK, and they the UK is kind of governed by these 12 organizations, the wastewater part. And they reached out to one guy in the organization and scheduled a meeting. And he said, "Hey, are you available?" I said, "Absolutely, I'm available. I'm there." Great. So I'm one meeting with one guy and my partner. And then that guy said, "Hey, can I invite 4 other people from my company to attend?" Sure. So now we've got a meeting with 5 people. And then he said, this is like 3 days before the meeting, he said, "Hey, what's the limit of people that we can have on a Zoom call?" 100. Okay, would it be okay if I invited people from the other 12 companies? I said, yeah, sure. And so there were 25 people slated to attend from these companies. It turns out to be, it was a big opportunity. Turns out to be a potentially huge opportunity. And this is the first time I've ever given a presentation of this length to a UK audience. And so it means a lot of my slides aren't ready for some of the specific parts of their thing. So I've got a standard presentation. I keep all of my slides in one PowerPoint. So I have a PowerPoint that's like at this point 220 slides.
Do they freak
long.
out when they see that? Do you display the slide count when you start a meeting?
I don't display the slide count. I don't display the slides. I only share my presentation screen, and so I'm constantly just jumping back and forth. And I'm also make sure to tell them up front, hey, look, my background's in education. Please interrupt me. Please ask questions. I have no agenda here. I will go through these, but I would much rather you ask a question and let's jump to the end of the presentation and answer that question in the moment. And so, of 220 slides, we probably get through 60 or so. And but anyway, all that to say, I'm feeling the pressure leading up to this. The night before the presentation, I had other plans that were immovable. I got home at 1 a.m. and I had that moment of I should really work on these these slides, because at that point my presentation was about 90% ready for this audience, and I didn't. And the presentation was at 9 a.m. the next morning, and so I got up, got into work from about 8:10 to about 8:59. Was creating. I created probably 10 new slides in that time, and it was great. They would never know that's the way it went. But if I had a partner on that knew, it would stress them
no
out.
Question. Yeah.
It would stress them out. Now, the thing I hate is that they asked for my slides. They said, "Can I have your slides?" I said, "Yes, I will share them with you." But that meant I had to go through and delete, pull out the ones I used. And also, my slides, like I imagine yours are, they don't have any useful content on them.
They don't say what you're saying.
They reference the stuff I'm talking about,
right.
But for somebody to just look at that, it's not a book. It's not. Yeah. But I mean, I also recorded the presentation, and so they have that to reference.
My presentations, like you, like I'm doing LED lighting training. I have 3 PowerPoints presentations open, and I'm going back and forth between them. I had, at one point, tried to compile them into one continuous thing, but like you, if the audience isn't getting something and we need to jump back to something else, if I need to unhide a slide, something like that, I do on the fly. And I actually like doing it that way.
There are some presentations where I will have 2 or 3 PowerPoints open, and even in this one, there's something that someone asked a question, I didn't have a slide, I pulled it up on the website, I shared that screen to show them, active live stuff. But I got to the point where, generally speaking, for the most common type of audience I'm presenting to, I just put everything into and the kitchen sink presentation, and I just select the slides as I go through.
Well, it's interesting. So good question. So answer that question for us. What occupies your brain head? I sometimes think about that sort of thing. What I'm trying to get to sleep is, the things that are running in my brain that keep me awake. And usually as I fall asleep, that's what my brain continues to work on, those things that I was last thinking about. So I don't let it bother me. Sometimes I don't fall asleep until 2 o'clock because my brain's really working hard on it. But I usually need that. So I just got a message from a coworker who lives right down the street asking, "What are we doing in the shop?" Popped up on my phone or on my watch here.
Tell him to come on by.
I'm going to
join us for day 23.
reply to him when we're done. All right, hey, that's it for us. Make it a great day, and we will see you tomorrow morning for 23.
23.
All right.
See you guys.
All right.